without turning away from her post. Her eyes were static gray since she was harmonized with the Dreadnought. The planet they wanted was Phoenix, in the Mayall galaxy. Vina also learned that while the Commonwealth didn't control other parts of the universe, they had spies throughout it. When the Ascendant asked questions in this galaxy, answers came back swiftly. The portal opened on this planet, and indeed a large number of refugees had come through. Vina looked at the planet on her panels. It was a massive thing, larger than any planet inside Earth's solar system, yet its atmosphere was unlike anything Vina had ever imagined, let alone seen. She stared at it now, almost unable to believe such a thing could exist. Fire wrapped around the planet, its atmosphere made of continual explosions and the resulting flames. Vina had looked up the science behind such an uninhabitable planet and come to understand that the humans who'd arrived here nearly 1,000 years ago had created this. Their terraforming wasn't to make the world more habitable, but less so. For what reason? To stop the exact thing that was now about to happen. They wanted any invaders to have to consider the cost of their incursion, which was what Vina had been doing since realizing what her fleet was flying into. Their ships would be damaged. The atmosphere was too hot for the shields to hold up during the entire descent, not to mention the heavier gravity they would encounter due to the planet's mass. The AI would navigate around most of the explosions, but Vina knew it couldn't do it perfectly before reaching the surface. That meant death. In the end, though, the cost didn't matter. The fallen Titan was on that planet, and Vina had no choice but to go down there and get him. Once they were closer, they'd make contact with the subsurface dwelling people. Hopefully, those creatures would give Cain up. But if not, the Commonwealth would invade. There would be no more fire rains. Vina had made her decision. She would no longer risk portals or any other new magic the subversives might show her. Boots on the ground would ensure his death or capture. Vina could not fail, not if she wanted to ever see her home again. Ares stalked through the ship like a restless cat. While Vina spent most of her time on the bridge, Ares couldn't stop moving. He thought as he walked the ship, and those ruminations were starting to bother him. If he ever let anyone know what he was thinking, he imagined they'd have called him obsessive. Perhaps they would have been right. Obsessive or not, he couldn't make the thought stop. That was why he came to the war room. It was a 100-meter square space near the top of the ship where the Titans trained. However, whenever Ares entered, anyone else using the space left. Ares didn't know if he had changed since his encounter with Alistair, not yet at least, but those around him acted as if he had. He didn't even need to look at whoever was in the war room. They simply exited, which was what he wanted. The war room was a surprisingly efficient and reactive piece of equipment. Until shipping out on this dreadnought, Ares had preferred practicing against real people, yet these machines were more advanced. They were preparing him in a way he hadn't thought possible. That was what he wanted more than anything in this universe, to be prepared the next time he saw Alistair, the mutant. Ares waited for the two young Titans to exit the war room, then he walked to the middle of it. 3 enemies. The walls opened on 3 sides of him, and 3 black poles floated out, hovering above the floor. 3 stick-like arms emerged from each pole, and laser strands flowed from the ends of those arms. Difficulty level, the war room's AI asked. Deadly, Ares responded as he pulled his whip from his belt. He could pick from multiple difficulty levels, but he'd seen Alistair move against the insectoid back on the other dreadnought. The man had always been lethal, but now he was something else, almost otherworldly. Ares honestly wondered if he could defeat him in a one-on-one match. He'd studied the images from the portal, watching as Alistair destroyed 10 Titans in mech suits.